Well, good evening and welcome back. Delmarva, a Wicomico County Public Schools parent, is speaking out after an incident involving his daughter. WMDT's Layla Wea has the story.
Charles Sparwasser, the father of an East Salisbury Elementary School student, is questioning his daughter's well-being at school after he says a staff member had harsh words for the 8-year-old.
She was in computer class and she was struggling with whatever it was that they had her working on. In which I guess the teacher got frustrated with her asking for help or whatever the situation. But her response to my daughter was, "God, I could strangle you for not understanding."
Wicomico County Public Schools tells WMDT the adult involved is not a teacher, but when Sparwasser heard about the incident Friday morning, he said he spoke with the principal on the phone, filing a verbal complaint against a staff member.
Oh, I was enraged. These people are supposed to be my kids' role models, the people that my kids look up to. They're supposed to show them the right way, and to let your frustrations or your stress or whatever outside work issues, whatever you had going on, affect the way that you were talking to elementary school aged kids. It's not acceptable.
School district officials say they are investigating the matter, which will be, quote, addressed per school system policies and procedures. Sparwasser says he's satisfied with the principal's response thus far, but hopes both educators and staff members can learn from this situation.
Be an ear to your kids. Listen to them. Let them express themselves and take the necessary actions to solve those problems. At the end of the day, that's your next generation.
Now school district officials said they are committed to ensuring a safe and supportive environment for everyone. Meanwhile, Delaware State Senator Eric Buxton has sent a letter to President Trump asking him to pardon an Underground Railroad hero. The letter calls for a posthumous pardon for Delaware Underground abolitionist John Hunn. Now, Hunn was born in 1818 and is widely regarded as the architect of Delaware's Underground Railroad. He was convicted of federal crimes for his work to help free slaves, an injustice that Senator Buxton believes should be rectified.
I think it's high time that we have the means that we take a look at history and right that wrong, not just for him and his memory, but maybe for his existing family members today.
Copies of the letter Senator Buxton sent to the president were also sent to the state's federal delegation. That's Congresswoman Sarah McBride and U.S. Senators Chris Coons and Lisa Blunt Rochester. Well, back in Maryland, Salisbury Neighborhood Housing Services is looking to give local women a skills and confidence boost. The organization is hosting a female empowerment fast track program. Participants will learn financial literacy skills like how to build stronger credit and find financial resources. Housing counselor Jackie Davis says NHS is hoping to give attendees all the important tools they need to navigate life's financial milestones.
We're helping them incorporate different tools to really help control their spending and tracking expenses, and also letting them know things to look out for, like predatory lending. That can be a big problem these days.
Yeah, classes are filling up fast, so register now at salisburynhs.org. Well, a third suspect involved in an alleged hate crime at Salisbury University was seen in court today. 20-year-old Dylan Piatuska was charged with second-degree assault and false imprisonment. He pleaded guilty to false imprisonment and was sentenced to 2 years in jail with all but 79 days suspended. He was among 15 SU students accused of luring a man to an apartment under false pretenses, tying him up and beating him. Well, back in Delaware, Dover police have arrested another suspect involved in a crash that happened earlier this week. 21-year-old Patience Dodd of Smyrna, who you see there on your screen, has been charged with endangering the welfare of a child and non-compliance with bond. Now, she was released on her own recognizance. Tuesday's crash on East Lockerman Street left a 1-year-old boy with critical injuries. He was airlifted to the hospital. Police say the driver, identified as 22-year-old Lamar Howard, who you see there on your screen, was driving under the influence of marijuana. Well, at this time, we're going to throw things over to our chief meteorologist, Rich Werdzik, who's standing by. Rich, what are we looking at this weekend?
Well, we had a lot of it today, sunshine and actual temperatures that were above freezing for a couple of hours. We're going to have much of the same tomorrow, but we're going to work on warming up by the second half of the weekend. Now, a lot of the snow and ice here at our Unity Square area in downtown Salisbury has melted off, but I know that there are a lot of areas where there's still a little bit more to go, and we're going to work on getting that melting process quicker here into the weekend. Today's high temperatures, we all did it, above freezing. 36 in Cambridge and Easton, a high of 37 in Dover. Salisbury 38, low 40s, Wallops Island. 94 hours straight. That was the stretch of time at the Salisbury Airport where we were below freezing. So it makes total sense that all of this ice is now formed along our waterways. Not just the retention ponds, creeks, and streams, but legitimate rivers and estuaries here, and even the northern part of the Chesapeake Bay. That's 90 to 100% ice coverage that's showing up at this point. A lot of these areas are showing icy conditions here, like through the Chop Tank. Meteorologist Eric Alf has been up there showing those icy spots earlier this week. Crisfield, we've seen some pictures out there. And even along the Atlantic, there's been a little bit of ice here and along the Delaware Bay too. So all of that set to melt this weekend, but especially as we go into next week. We've got high pressure firmly in control of our weather, clear skies, a very weak cold front off to the north and west, no Arctic air headed in our direction. In fact, a southerly wind at one point this weekend, which is something we haven't had in a while. That's going to help the warming process too after a very nice Saturday. Some high clouds moving in at times on Sunday, but overall a really nice end to the weekend and kind of a reprieve from how much of this month has been. The core of the Arctic air is modified as it's moved north here the past couple of days. And if you look at the timestamp there, through the weekend into early next week, the Arctic air is going to be way up in Canada and the North Pole. But another shot of that Arctic air heads south late next week, but the core of it should stay just off to our north. So we're going to be in the fringe. So basically what we're going to do is see our temperatures drop back below freezing, or below average, I should say, below freezing, of course, at night, but we won't tap into the Arctic air this time. So no return to single digits or feels like temperatures near zero, just a colder outlook after a nice little mild trend into next week. We'll be warmer than this, of course, 13 to 18 tonight. So still cold, but it feels like of 10 to 15 because the wind finally is not much of a factor here with our days ahead. 34 to 39 tomorrow under sunny skies. Still below average with our temperatures, average about 45, 46. We'll get there if not beat it Sunday afternoon. Mid-40s on Monday, near 50 Tuesday, 52 on Wednesday, mild through midweek. And this is what I was talking about with the drop in temperatures here by the end of the week. But noting that at night we're in the 20s, so only below freezing for a few hours and above for many of the hours of the day. So nice to see that upper 30s Thursday and Friday. Anthony?
Thank you so much, Rich. Stick around. NASCAR's big race, the Daytona 500, is on February the 16th. Spire Motorsports has a new crew chief for Justin Haley, and he will try to help him win the Great American Race. Find out who that new crew chief is. Also, the Washington Commanders will take on the Eagles on Sunday. You will hear from quarterback Jalen Hurts and how he thinks that facing the Commanders 2 other times will help him get the victory on Sunday. You're watching DSI.
How you doing? This is Jake Coleman, head football coach Steve Decatur, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider. Go Hawks!